Hi, all you sake lovers out there. You know, I think some people come to Tokyo and they don't even realize that there are sake breweries in Tokyo. And even for people who know that there are sake breweries in Tokyo, I think there might be a perception that it can't really be good sake, can it? But in my opinion, sake from Tokyo is really worth exploring. So tonight I'm here with Yoji.
Hello.
And I'm going to see if I can switch him on to some sake from Tokyo. Alright, so Yoji, I have a little quiz for you to start off tonight.
Okay.
How many sake breweries do you think are in Tokyo? And I'll give you a choice, okay?
Okay.
Right? A, 5, B, 10, or C, 15?
I will play it safe and just take the middle and say 10.
Well, you are correct, in a way. So there are actually 10 breweries in Tokyo making seishu, which is the filtered, refined sake. And there are a couple others that are making, like a handful of others that are making things like doburoku or flavored sake that aren't considered seishu. So it's, in Japanese it would be craft sake.
Yeah.
So it's more than 10, maybe like 12 or 13 if we include those other types of breweries in there. And actually out of those 10, 2 of them, one of them is completely new. And 2 of them have just started brewing again after being, like, they were family businesses that stopped brewing and they had to get their licenses back and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's really actually kind of some interesting stories going on with Tokyo sake right now.
Well,
Yeah.
curious to hear more.
Well, tonight actually we're going to be looking at 4 of the more famous and big and well-known breweries.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to taste 4 sake, and we're going to try them along with some different dishes. And we're going to do something a little bit different tonight, which is I've tried the sake and I thought about the dishes, but I haven't tried the sake with the dishes. So I'm not sure how the pairings are actually going to go. So I want you to be honest. After we drink it and we taste it with the food, we're going to give it a thumbs up if we think it was good, a thumbs down if we think it didn't work. Not for the sake, but about the pairing, right?
Yeah.
And then give it a comme ci, comme ça if it was just so-so.
Okay.
Okay? All right, let's get started.
Let's get it on.
All right, so our first sake tonight is from Ozawa Brewery, and their brand is Sawanoi. Have you ever had this before? Because it's a pretty famous one.
In Okutama, right?
Yeah. So their brewery is located out on the way to Okutama, beautiful natural area, and they have tours, they have English tours, they have a restaurant on the river. It's kind of really a cool place. And actually they were founded in 1702. So they're one of the older breweries in Tokyo. Actually on their website it says they are the oldest, but there's another one that mentions it. And what's interesting is they have 2 water sources. So they have one moderately hard water source that comes out of a cave on their property that you can see if you tour it. And then they have another that's in the forest that's soft water. And so depending on the sake that they want to brew, they might choose the hard water one or the soft water. Kind of interesting.
Yep.
And this is Kanjikomi junmaiginjo, muroka nama genshu. So it's slow fermented in the winter months, and it's filtered, but then it's not treated with charcoal, so it has a little bit of the color left, and it's also unpasteurized. So let's have a look at this.
It has a very fruity kind of odor, but also sharp.
Yeah, it's still a little bit cold. I'm getting like ginjo aromas, kind of like I'm getting more like banana and a little bit of banana.
Yeah, melon I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a very bright,
Really
I'm
bright.
here kind of. Yeah,
What'd you say?
I'm here.
Yeah, it's got a real presence.
Yeah.
What do you think about the sweetness?
I think it's pretty sweet. Not too sweet. Don't know what I can compare it with, but it's more comparable to, I would say, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's got that sweetness in the beginning, but it certainly doesn't linger, right?
Yeah.
It's not a syrupy sweetness.
It moves over to the sharpness pretty quick,
Yeah.
and you get the sour aftertaste on the side of the tongue.
Yeah, a lot of like kind of lactic acid, like kind of cheesy, yogurty.
Yeah.
It's actually made with the brewery's proprietary. Am I saying that word right? Proprietary yeast. So it's yeast that has come from the brewery. I don't know if it's a wild yeast or if it's one that they've like actually cultivated. Yeah. But let's try it with our food, which is aged ham with cheese and kinkan. Kumquat. Fun saying that word. Okay, so what do you think? We're gonna give this a thumbs up, thumbs down, or
Do we do a countdown?
so?
Do we do a countdown?
Yeah, we'll do 1, 2, 3. And we're being completely honest here tonight because one thing that I think is really important is that we need to know what doesn't work as well as what does work, and if it doesn't work, why doesn't it work? So I'm being completely honest. If I don't like something, just because I chose these things, I'm not going to give a thumbs up every time. But ready? 1, 2, 3. I think it's a thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely. I think it mixes really, really well. Like the food itself mixes really, really well. I would not have gone with kinkan with the cheese and the ham and the balsamic.
Yeah, it's kind of like you said, a flavor adventure.
Yeah, it's like however you chew, like whatever taste comes first, and it's like they mix in the end, but you have different steps that you go through. And I feel like depending on which element you had last, it also changes the taste of the sake.
Oh, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Like with the first bite, I had the parsley, I think, as the last lingering taste. So it was more the hit on the herb.
So you're saying like the different flavors of this bring out the different like aspects of this.
Yes.
Of the sake.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think what's really cool about the sake is that even though it's a ginjo, it's not super crazy aromatic.
Yeah.
And so it's not overpowering the flavors of this. And like you said, like there's the lactic that might go with the cheese, and the sweetness that goes with the ham, and the herbaceousness that goes with the herbs. So there's kind of like different facets of it that can be brought out.
Yeah.
So I think some people might drink this or they might approach this and be like, oh, this doesn't immediately please me. You know what I mean? It's not super ingratiating.
Yeah.
Is what I say about sake. But when you pair it with some different flavors, it really kind of does a dance with the flavor.
Definitely. Like it changes so much. It's difficult to explain.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is a really interesting one. So if you're in Tokyo, check it out. All right, so our second selection tonight is from a brewery called See, when I start to drink, then I can't even say it. From a brewery called Toshimaya. And actually, they started out as a liquor store where you could drink in the liquor store down by the river in Edo. So they were founded in 1590, sorry, 1596.
1596.
Yeah.
Wasn't the time of 17, whatever.
Okay, but right. So I don't know when. So the company is older than than Ozawa, but I don't know when they started brewing.
Right.
So they started out as a liquor store, and then they started brewing, and then the brewery actually moved out to Higashi Murayama in 1930s, 1935, I think. And so they've been there since 1935. And their brand is called Kinkon. Kinkon.
Kinkon.
Yeah. Like gold wedding. Yeah. And this is a, sorry, I keep putting my glasses on. Junmai kase nigori sake. So it's only available in the winter, and as you can see, it's cloudy, nigori, and kase means that it's unpasteurized, so it's alive. So that yeast is still active. So it'll be a little bit, sometimes these can be violently, what do I say, violently fizzy, but this one is not so fizzy because I've been keeping it at a very low temperature. So let's try this. And tonight we are pairing it with sashimi. And we have taco, so octopus, and kare, which is flounder. You looked it up, bright-eyed flounder in English. And the reason why I chose this is because these nigori, these heavy nigori, like I find that they, because there's so much of the rice in it, it's difficult to pair with. I don't like it with anything with carbs in it. So something that I've tried before in the past with heavy nigori is to use it as a liquid shari. So it has a little bit of acidity, and it also has the rice. And so instead of having the shari of the sushi, you're using this as the shari with the sashimi. So let's try it. Let's try the sake first.
Interesting idea.
Oh wow.
That's That's an interesting, like, first whiff that I got after having it rested for a bit. Was very dense.
Oh, dense.
Yeah.
Do you get any like I have a very specific food item that this reminds me of.
There's something that it reminds me of, but I can't.
It's very yogurty.
Yeah.
It smells like cowpiss. Not cowpiss, cowpiss.
Yes.
And also, of course, like the graininess, kind of like there's a little bit of rice.
Yeah.
Aroma.
Definitely very sweet.
Yeah, there's like a sweet aroma to it.
Compared to the first one, it definitely does not have the punch, so to speak.
Like that kind of sharp
Yeah.
aroma. Yeah. Well, let's try it. What do you think? You know, some people don't like the fizziness of it. And if you don't like the fizziness, just open it up and let it sit, and the fizziness will actually go away after a couple of days, and that's a totally okay way to drink it as well. What do you think?
Okay, from many nigori sake that I've had, they are typically relatively sweet, right? Like the first hit that you get on your tongue is immediately sweet. With this one, it's a dry taste.
It's actually, I think it's technically on the sweet side, but there's the acidity.
yeah, it immediately
Yeah.
spreads out.
Yeah, and it also is like it is actually dry on the tongue.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't gloop on the tongue, doesn't glop on the tongue. It kind of just glides right over it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do our what we think of this.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'll go first. I think with the octopus, it was great. With the flounder, I think it brought out the fishiness a little bit too much. So I would have preferred a very. I think the flounder has a strong fishy flavor and an oiliness to it.
Yep.
And if I were going to go with another fish, I would want a white fish that had like basically no abura, no oiliness. So I think with squid or octopus, it's okay. I think with this, no.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the fish just overpowers and takes over too much for my taste. One thing I'm curious about, which I have to try, is taking old muroka. Just go ahead and take the other one. Because I feel
Following
like
Yoji Sensei's lead.
no, I feel like the herb actually pair really, really well. For vegetarian friends.
Octopus.
The herb.
I got you. I'm also wondering, wasabi. I'm also wondering if maybe not shoyu, but I have to tell you about the first time I tried wasabi sometime. Good. Good.
For sure.
Very good. Oh, the oba with that is so good.
It's really good.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yoji Sensei.